Yeah. So what's up? Margot reached out to me about how to use Bitcoin. I mean, what's it all about and how to use it? And actually, how to actually use this thing because they always say Michael Saylor said that you could just hold on to it forever and never ever sell it ever. And I thought, wow, it doesn't really make sense. But she reached out to me, so we're gonna talk about using it and what we can do. So hi, Margot. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And by the way, I don't think Bitcoin is was originally designed to be just held, right? It was supposed to be peer-to-peer digital cash. So that's what I want to know. How do you use it?
Yeah. So that was
Peer-to-peer.
the first thing I wanted to start with. Like, let's start by using it. So now it doesn't sound like a lot, but what just happened there in a matter of seconds is that you received just 1 penny in cash. 1 penny in cash. In
But I
cash,
can't open
but you're
it
in
because I
but
have
you're in
an old
Florida.
telephone.
But you're in Florida
I
and you got 1 cent. Now it's only 1 penny. Oh, no big deal. It's not the amount, it's the fact that you just got 1 cent
yeah.
in cash in instantly. And it was
And
and you didn't
I
have
didn't
a
ask
wallet.
for it.
No wallet.
Right. I didn't even ask for it.
You
But
didn't
I
ask
don't
for
know
it.
how to open it up because I have an old phone, so I may not have the technology uploaded
You
on
don't
my
need the
phone.
technology. Just go ahead and press. All you're gonna do next is so you're. I sent you that. Now let me go ahead and next you want to do.
Oh, I see. It says reply start.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, do a start. It's all on text,
Okay.
and then you can do like. Oh, let's try this. Send.
Okay. So I'll read what it says so people can know what it says. So
Go ahead
here
and
it
read it.
is.
Yeah.
It says, Welcome to Text BSV, the future of money. By continuing, you agree to our terms. Reply command. So now I have to put in commands. And it also has a info link that says textbsv.com. So I could go and read up what I just signed up for.
Right. And you don't
Okay.
need a wallet. So you don't need to go and create a wallet because wallets confuse me personally. It's like, whoa, it's cool when you're looking at becoming a whale or something. Yeah, that's important to learn. But I'm just talking about cash right now. We're just dealing in
That's what
cash.
I'm
So
interested in.
yeah,
Yes.
just the cash side, not about holding for a whale. I'm talking about this is just the cash side. We don't need a wallet for that. So that's what I just showed you. And you can see the transaction on chain. And then if you go to I just sent another, so now I sent more and I kind of like started to put more into your wallet and it automatically created the wallet for you. You don't even need to see it. Now there's a way to view the wallet, which you can do if you want to learn that later, but all you can need to do now is you can now text your friend and you would say text all the this is the hash code that I use. It wasn't even a hash code. It just said send zero point zero 0.01 to the phone number. Or so you could do send zero point zero 0.01 and type in any phone number. And then you will send your
Uh,
friend 1 cent out of
well,
that
I'll
wallet.
send it back to you. I'm going to try
Send
it
it back to
out.
me.
So,
Yeah. Um, okay. I'm gonna have to pause that one moment. Go ahead and
yeah.
actually, yeah, you could do my handle. So just go send.
Okay. So I'm going to put it right here in the text box.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Same text
Okay.
box. Send space 0.01 space
Wait. 0.01 space.
at Gavin.
Okay.
That's it.
So
Send.
send SEND is in Dave, then a
Yep.
space, then
And then I would
point,
put 0.01
another space, and then at
at
Gavin.
symbol Gavin.
Yep.
Send.
Okay. All right. Transaction sent.
Yeah, I just got it. It says your phone number just sent me 0.01, which is 1 cent in BSV. And then there's a
That's amazing.
transaction on chain. So I'll show you share the screen here. If I, what's happening. So you got, all right.
That's amazing. I'm impressed.
It's pretty impressive, right? It's actually pretty incredible. Let's see here. We've got this. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. What's on chain? All right. So what's on chain is going to show, even before the transaction is confirmed, it's going to show you already have it in your wallet. So technically it's unconfirmed. So like it takes a minute for the miners to mine the block to make sure that it's not double spent.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't matter to you. So because it's already there and you can use it. Okay, so but that now you're looking at the receipt. That's what this is. This is the receipt in the blockchain of the transaction. So you've got the amount, let's see, outputs. Oh, this is the one that I did for 5. Hold on, outputs right here. So this was the one that I sent for $5, $5 US dollars. This is how it looks on the actual transaction ledger.
Okay.
So it doesn't say $5 on here. But it's calculated on the text. It's calculated here in Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, there it is. See that? 4.99 USD is what it says. When you
Yeah.
click that,
Yeah.
so you could convert it to see if you want to know what it was in USD. So
Cool.
that then shows up, and it's unconfirmed, but it's there. So you can see the receipt instantly. So your cash transaction has a receipt. And it's still anonymous. Like it doesn't say your name on here or anything, So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like, it's still private because if you want to use a phone that's not your phone, well, then it's going to be that phone, Great. It's just a matter of how private you want to be with the situation. If it's just a simple cash transaction, then for $5 or 1 cent, well, then it's perfect. And you can, just instantly transact with somebody just like that. Now, you didn't have a wallet, and maybe you don't even need a wallet. Well, you don't to have small transactions. So, but the power of that, in my opinion, and the reason I'm excited about it is because like we don't have to give the other side, well, not the other side, but we don't have to give Michael Saylor and Lightning Network and MasterCard away our power. Every time we do that, they not only take something from us, but like money wise, but they also take power away from us. Because in the last 4 years, a lot of people don't know this, but even the president himself, while he wasn't president, was debanked. Okay, they took his bank account away, some of his bank accounts away. They took his bank account away. They took his Melania's bank account away. He's supposed to be the ex-president. He's not allowed to do banking. What? Like we thought this guy was an elite, and they did it to him. So because they didn't like what he had to say. And here we are. We don't need that. So we can. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need it. It's not that we're never going to automatically just change. We don't ever work with banks again. No, banks will still be involved. That's the thing about Bitcoin. If you really look at it, is like it's about making things better, faster, cheaper, more efficient. And so the banks can actually use these rails. Right now, they just haven't quite embraced it yet. But once they see that it's the way the way of the future in the new internet and everything's going on chain, Bitcoin's meant to scale on chain, not off chain. It scales on chain horizontally like this in massive infinite way. And it's not close to any, it's laughable, in technology wise, it's not, there's the elephant, the giant elephant, and then there's just the little guppies. Everybody else is just not, there's nothing even to compare, So it's just a matter of time for people to really need the demand. But what's making the demand is AI. I'm telling you. That's where people are missing. They think the AI is just going to be able to transact on BTC. No chance. It's not going to work.
Okay, so Gavin, let's backtrack a little bit because I'm actually wanting to educate people who are totally non-tech savvy and maybe know nothing about Bitcoin. Maybe they only now have heard about it because there's now a lot of news or a lot of information in the news about Bitcoin, and there's an ETF by BlackRock and there's Ethereum ETF, and there's more and more information out about blockchain. But like me, until 2020, I had no idea that any of this even existed. I was so involved in my own work, in my own life. I'm not technology minded, so that wasn't even on my radar until I started researching in 2020 about what was happening with COVID and how come the entire world was locked down and we couldn't work and we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that unless we had this little green check mark on our telephone that allowed us to now go into a store or, go visit our family or go to a restaurant. So that kind of woke me up to looking, wait a moment, technology is being used in a way that is restricting our freedom and our free choices and movement. And so that's when I first learned about Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin right now is this big thing because it went from very little cents to now I think it's 120 something thousand dollars. So when I first learned about Bitcoin, it was $6,000 and it was considered peer-to-peer digital cash. That's what I first learned in 2020 when I listened to people online talk about Bitcoin. That's what it was. And so there were apparently Bitcoin ATMs. People could go and just put $10 in. They could get Bitcoin out and they could pay with Bitcoin. I didn't understand how this all worked, but there were ATMs all over the place. I heard from Catherine Austin Fitz in Switzerland or in Germany on the train stations. They had ATM cards for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was a big thing, not considered as a hodl, as a holding mechanism, but as a peer-to-peer digital cash system that people could pay pizza with and a coffee with and send $5 to their friends. And so that's what I was interested in because I noticed during 2020, people who spoke up against the COVID measures and were interested in freedom and being able to have free movement and be able to go shopping and to the gym and to the beach and their kids go to school were restricted and their finances were turned off. People's bank accounts, like you were saying earlier, President Trump's bank and family members' bank accounts were turned off. And that happened to a lot of medical doctors. It happened to Dr. Mercola. His entire office staff and their family members, the bank accounts were shut down. That happened in Germany. It happened in Switzerland. It happened in many places in the US. So I've never heard of such a thing that suddenly the banks close down people's bank accounts or suddenly you're no longer able to access your own money that you put in the bank that is yours. And so it freaked me out. It's like, well, how can I do business in this world when suddenly there's technology unraveling that we didn't even know existed that at any moment can shut us down? And I had a YouTube video taken down. And they had an entire website taken down because I had the word vaccine in it. And for some reason, that word was not allowed to be used in YouTube. and so it's like, really, what's going on? It's like in 2020, suddenly I woke up into a world I didn't know existed, had never anticipated that this could ever happen. I come from Austria. We had Nazi type dictatorship where you couldn't speak and your neighbors were calling on you if you said something that wasn't right. So that's in my family history. So when that happened in the US in 2020 with COVID, all of my hairs stood up on it. I knew something is so wrong about what was going on. And so I did research. And when I came upon Bitcoin that said peer-to-peer, digital cash between people, we interchange our own money. No middleman, no bank, no on-rail, no Visa, MasterCard on-rail ramps. I thought, okay, that's a good idea. I didn't understand how to use it. It was so complicated back then. You had to sign up for Coinbase or some kind of a platform. You had to do your KYC. You had to give all of your personal information, which already I didn't want to do, because then it's not cash, right? It's not with cash. Nobody knows that you have it. You earned it. It's yours. It's nobody's business how much money you earned. Well, that's how I grew up with anyway, with that understanding. And so now when that happened, that I needed to now give KYC, which is know your customer type of information, your thumbnail, your print of your thumb or your iris scans or, my entire driver's license. The companies wanted that in order for me to link my bank account so I could get Bitcoin. I just said, no, I don't want to be part of that system. So I began more and more researching what's going on. Nothing felt right about how a freedom, supposedly America was supposed to be functioning. And so I never bought Bitcoin. It was $6,000 then. It's now 120,000. So I could have made a nice little sum of money in those last 5 years. But when in the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021, a lot of people who are new to Bitcoin, who have never heard of any of this, will not know this backstory. But because I lived it, I can talk about it. Michael Saylor is a person who has invested lots and lots of money into Bitcoin and has been a proponent of Bitcoin not being digital peer-to-peer cash, but being a system of digital gold, which means you buy a Bitcoin and you hold it in your wallet and you never use it. It's just like regular gold. You buy it as a safe haven, you put it in your safe or you put it in the bank and you don't touch it because over time it will go, the value will go up and then you'll have more money in your safe because the value of gold has risen. And that was the idea that was suddenly propagandized by this one person, Michael Saylor. He came out of nowhere. I had not heard him during the entire 2020 when I was doing my research. And it seemed like there was this, a door opened up that this was not a movement where Bitcoin was going to go into this direction of all of us holding Bitcoin and using it as a store of value. So that's not cash. Cash is used, you go to the grocer and you buy your groceries with, or you buy gas with. So it's a very different concept from using Bitcoin as digital cash, as peer-to-peer, small amounts going between people, versus hodling, which is a weird word, but hodling your Bitcoin in a safe, somewhere, and it's going to go up and up and up and up. And so the other issue or the other propaganda that was put out is number go up. It's not peer-to-peer. Now it's digital gold and number going up. So people now, when they hear about Bitcoin, I don't have to forget them. It's supposed to be a peer-to-peer, because a lot of people that I listened to in the beginning in 2020 who talked about digital cash peer-to-peer, they flipped and now are talking about holding and digital gold and number going up. So it seems like even the people who initially were interested in Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer, no middleman system of interchange, financial interchange, somehow they were moved into this, number go up scheme where Bitcoin was hijacked. So I think to me anyway, Bitcoin was hijacked, or the propaganda, the messaging was hijacked at the end of 2020, when everybody was so focused on COVID and nobody could think straight, to everybody was at home, everybody was on YouTube, everybody was watching what was going on in the world. And so that's when to me, the whole narrative shifted, and I could see it because that narrative wasn't there during the beginning of 2020 doing my research. And initially, I listened to quite a few videos by him. And initially, what he was saying seemed like a reasonable idea. I thought, okay, so if you buy it, you're not using it, and it goes up in value, that that is good also with regular money. Like, I grew up in Austria. We had shillings. In Italy they had liras. In Germany they had marks, right? In England they had pounds, and in Switzerland they have francs. So when we went from one country to another, we got more money by going to a different country. So we could actually buy more because our money, the shilling, was worth more than there. So I understood that idea of value exchange, that you have something that grows in value maybe over time. Of course, gold, the same thing has happened. Real estate, right? We understand that aspect. So initially, when I thought about what he was saying, it seemed like a good idea. Yeah, okay, so you hold it and then it keeps going up in value. Where my red flag came in was when in 2023, institutions came in and they started talking about using Bitcoin and creating an ETF. And banks suddenly talked about Bitcoin and crypto as being part of the institutional and banking system. And it's like, whoa, wait a moment. So Bitcoin is supposed to be peer-to-peer, no middleman, no banks, no fees. We are exchanging between us digital cash. That's our money that we hold ourselves in our wallets. And suddenly the banks are getting involved. So that was the second red flag where I realized, okay, now Bitcoin has been hijacked. It started in the beginning of 2021 with the digital gold hijacking propaganda. And then when the banks started coming in, that was a very clear sign something has happened with Bitcoin, or the original Bitcoin, where it's now no longer sold that way. Apparently, the fees had gone up because one of the things that I understood with Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, the fees are very low. So you can use it for coffee. You can use it to buy pizza, right? The fees to use it would be like 0.0 or 0.000 cent. So a very cheap transaction fee. And what I learned, since I had never bought Bitcoin, so I didn't have that experience, but people were saying the fees had gone up. So instead of the fees being 0.001 or something, now it costs $40 and maybe cost half an hour to get a transfer of Bitcoin. So everything had changed from what it's supposed to be, or what I understood from when I first researched what it's supposed to be. So the other thing that I noticed, I just want to give you kind of a background, or particularly people who are listening, who are also new to Bitcoin. I'm not new, I have done a lot of research, but I still don't know how to use it. That's why I asked Gavin to help me, to show me how to do this, and hopefully educate you in case you're interested in using the real Bitcoin in your own life for peer-to-peer digital cash transactions. But the other thing that I found so fascinating during 2020, during 2021, 2022, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, I think the bank he owns, and many other top economists and banking and finance officials, they were all saying Bitcoin is a fraud. Do not invest in it. It's going to go to zero. It's bad. It's a bad investment. Don't listen to these freaks that are talking about buying Bitcoin. And those high-level executives who were on YouTube, who put up newspaper articles and gave interviews, they were dissing Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the other coins, and making it sound like anyone who was interested in it was just a freak. They were stupid, they were crazy, they were conspiracy theorists, and just don't believe them because they are nonsensical, promoting something that's just going to go to Syria and you'll lose all of your money. And in 2023, suddenly they're coming out with the ETF. And now they're talking about it being a banking system. And now in 25, they're talking about Bitcoin Reserve and Ethereum Reserve. And now suddenly this coin that was supposed to go down to zero is 120,000. And they're talking about Bitcoin will be 500,000, it will be 1 million, it will be 10 million, and it will be 1 billion, one coin of Bitcoin. And it's like, we have been lied to this entire time. From the very get-go, we have been lied to about Bitcoin, about Ethereum, about blockchain, about crypto. And last night, to prepare for our phone call, I was up until 3 in the morning and was doing all kinds of research. what I have learned, and I wasn't really aware of any of this because I've been not really that interested, but all of the financial institutions, all of the banks all over the world, so that's Europe, that's in Central America, in Asia, China, of course, Russia, Dubai, since 2016, they have been implementing these blockchain technologies. There is so many companies that are now offering on the institutional financial level where trading happens for huge $1 million funds, investment funds, all of that. They have been preparing this entire time. They have all these rails already set up to now, since Trump had put out this Genius Act on the Clarity Act, which is coming out, which makes crypto and stable coins and Bitcoin into an asset class that is protected by the government, and there's regulations put out. And until this year, none of that existed. But all of the rails were the entire time prepared, while all of the people in the news, the high-level executives with their nice outfits and their, with their cravate and, that nice hair and all sleek sitting in front, and, oh, Bitcoin is terrible and Ethereum is crazy and everybody, don't listen to them. And they were building the entire time behind the scenes these on-ramps, and now they're rolling them out, and there's lots of websites. I can send them to you so you can put them below this video. People can look at it. Yeah, so there is Rails for Solana, there's Rails for Ethereum, there's Rails for Cardano, there's Rails for all kinds of different cryptos and it's linked with BlackRock, with Bank of England and Dubai banks and, Swiss banks and Bank of International Settlements and all kinds of investment firms. They have all the rails all ready to go. They already have been since 2017 interacting with these coins in the background underneath themselves within their own financial institutions. And in the front, to us in the news, they were telling us, it's crazy. Don't look there. It's bad. Don't ever think about this is a good idea. So I am so pissed and upset at the lies that we have been told this entire time about everything, about COVID, about locking us down, about, what else that we are not allowed to talk about health issues that are generated by complete lies, fabrications of telling us this and this is bad if you do this, when the exact opposite is true. On the financial side, to make sure people lose more and more of their money with inflation, with all of this crazy spending that the US does. Now that debt is being pushed into stable coins. We are so lied to about so many areas in life, and I am so sick and tired of it. Everybody on the top level of government, of financial institutions, in the health institutions, in the education institutions, everywhere you look, they're all bought out and they're all lying. So as a person, just a regular freedom-loving person who wants to live a good life and assist other people to have a good life, because that is my profession. And of course, wants every human being to live a good life. I mean, that's what we're here for on Earth, yeah, to create a life that is better and better and better with each generation. We have gone backwards. When I grew up, we had freedoms that now just don't exist anymore. And the young generation have no idea what kind of freedoms we have, because they grew up with this surveillance and restrictive regulations and system that they just take for normal. And it's not normal. We are not living in a normal world. We're living in such a tight little tiny box, and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And I feel so pushed from the inside to educate people and say, wake up, wake up, wake up. Something is happening. You can't be asleep now. You have to wake up and know about what's going on. Because to me, the next movement is to steal all of this money away from people and put it in stable coins that can be surveilled, restricted, and just expire, that you don't actually have money anymore that's yours, that can expire if you don't use your monthly allotment or your monthly amount that you have in your stablecoin wallet or whatever CBDC wallet. It can expire and then you lose it all. So the idea that we actually own our own money, that's on the way out, and people need to be aware of this.
Yeah. The
So,
next move is going to be JP Morgan's going to come out with JP Morgan coin, and the others are going to come out with their coins, and they're
yeah.
going to say, hey, use the JP Morgan coin when you bank with us, and we're going to give you free movie tickets and McDonald's passes, and you're going to get bonuses at the grocery store by using it. And the great thing is we'll be able to help balance your budget better so that you get certain amount of money allocated to all your expenses better. It'll be a lot easier for you to use and account for all your spending with our coin. It's going to be valuable to you. So this is going to be the next pitch.
Cool.
That's
I,
coming. That's
I
coming very
haven't heard
soon.
that one yet.
Oh yeah, that's coming. That's coming. That'll be once they get the stable coin rails and all that, that's going to be the
Yeah,
next pitch. It'll be the selling pitch, and everyone's going to say,
yeah.
this sounds great. Wow. I get all these benefits. So
Yes.
yeah, that's coming. But how do we that's why we need Bitcoin, because we have no need to have all that. We have no need to be surrendering to all those our freedoms to those people. And why? When we could just use cash.
Yeah. So let me just throw a few questions out then to you. So Bitcoin was supposedly created by this synonymous name, Satoshi Nakamoto. We of course know who the real Bitcoin creator is. He's not allowed to be known in the marketplace. But is there any way that this Bitcoin, the way it was originally created, can it ever be shut down? Because bank accounts and even crypto exchanges didn't allow people who had Bitcoin during COVID, not allowed access to their Bitcoin. So even Bitcoin, the one that is being promoted, which is the BTC Bitcoin, that also was not accessible to people who owned it. They had bought it, they had held it. So can this particular true peer-to-peer digital cash Bitcoin, can that also be censored,
You'd have to, in order to
blocked?
do that, all the nodes would have to be nuked. All the nodes, which would be like, you'd have to, literally a nuclear bomb would have to go off in like
Well, then
Russia,
nothing is going to
China,
work.
America, Europe, Canada, Japan, all in those major areas. If those were all nuked and exploded, maybe.
Okay,
That would
but
be the only way, because the even if just one of the nodes, if let's say one of the countries were to go away from a disaster, it would still go on because there's
yeah.
nodes all over the world.
Well, right now, I think the way it works is Bitcoin. I guess if you have your Bitcoin in an external hardware wallet stored with your own keys, that cannot be taken away. But if you have your Bitcoin, which of course a lot of people do, they have it in custodial wallets where it's a Gemini wallet or a Coinbase wallet, when or the exchange, when the coins people buy remain on the exchanges, the access to those exchanges can be locked, right?
Yeah.
And that's how people then can't have access to their Ethereum, for instance, or to their BTC or other coins, right? Is that how it would work?
Well, yeah, that would be one way. If you gave your coins to a to an exchange that went away and went bankrupt, like Mt. Gox did in 2011. A lot of people, they gave their coins over there and they said, hold on to all my BTC for me. And then Mt. Gox went into bankruptcy and they went, and they took all those coins. And now 10 or 15 years, many years later, they went to the bankruptcy court and the trustee, and they're trying to redistribute stuff. So they've been locked away for that amount of time.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like during the trucker convoy in Canada, their bank accounts were frozen, but also the access to their Bitcoin was frozen. Were you not aware that that also happened? And the GoFundMe account that were started, that fund was also frozen. So people didn't have access to
Well,
any of their
they might
funds.
have been using Coinbase to send their Bitcoin, or if they were,
Yeah,
yeah, if they were using Coinbase, then they would just freeze that. Or if
yeah,
they're using a major exchange wallet, yep, we're going to freeze you down. That's just like a
yeah.
bank.
Yeah, so I just wanted for people to understand how a freezing of the regular cryptos can happen, which won't happen with what you just did. You sent me a
I
BSV
mean,
via
yeah,
text.
that's the thing is like the whole wallets and all this stuff, it gets really complicated and it's cool to learn about for the long term and the cold storage wallets and the pneumatic keys and all that. That is really cool and exciting to learn about. But on day one, like let's just go to the basics, which is, hey, what's your phone number? And okay, great. I'm going to send you some cash right now. And I just say send zero point zero 0.01, $5, 1 cent, $10, whatever amount of money. And
Oh,
then you give me your number, boom, send, and it shows up instantly. That's
okay,
it. And then you have the money, then you could send it back to me or someone else. And that's just cash. So
okay.
we're up, that's what it's designed for.
But you have to have money in that account in order to send some, or is it
Well,
linked to your
well,
bank
think about
account?
this. If you show up and we're in our little community and we have a little membership group in our area and you're a newbie, you're only 18 years old, you never had a job, you don't have any money, you come in and say, look, I'll do some work. Can you pay me? I don't have anything. I have nothing. I have no money. Of course you can. Yeah, here, clean my gutters. Here's 20 bucks. Now that person has some money, he can spend it. So yeah, they have to provide a service or value or trade. That would be the first as a simple way to get money.
Okay,
Um,
but I'm saying if I want to pay somebody to do my gutters, I still have to have BSV in that particular account where you just send it
yeah,
from.
you'd have to do,
Put it,
if you have no one around you and you have no way to transact like we just did right now,
yeah,
then you'd have to go out and do you'd have to go to Orange Gateway.
okay.
Yeah,
So
Orange Gateway
maybe
would be where you would
okay,
go.
so maybe that's something we can discuss in a moment of how that would be done. Because what I'm really interested in to educate, and I think this is the way it will propagate when businesses, like I have a consulting business, I have a family therapy business, I work with people. And if I want people to pay me in BSV, which is also then going to help them learn how to use it and get involved in it, I'm going to have to educate them. Send me my fee in BSV. So that means they would have to first get money into BSV or hook their bank account in a way. So this is I think really important when a professional like me would like to help other professionals get their client base to start using BSV. And you had a woman on your X space talk one time. She was talking about she wants to help farmers utilize BSV for their customers, right? So as a farmer, or in my case as a therapist, or my colleagues and other professionals that I'm in contact with, when we want to start using or having our clients and customers pay us in BSV, we have to help them understand how to get the BSV into that account so that they then can transfer our fees in BSV. And then, then the interchange can happen because then there's money in an account from where you just sent it, and then they then can send some to their kids, and the kids can get involved with it. So my whole idea is, how do we get mass adoption of BSV in different communities? Because what I understood from learning about BSV, digital cash, Bitcoin, digital peer-to-peer cash, how do you it has to be mass adoption, that people have to know that there is something else to the digital gold
Yeah.
propaganda train,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, in order to get in, you got to use a rail and the best rail and the
Okay.
cheapest rail, the most legit rail without going through and giving a blood sample or an eye
Yeah.
scan and all that crap,
Yeah.
because that's going to be a problem with a lot. Is just going to Orange Gateway.
Okay.
And these guys are in Iceland. It's Guy Thor, who I know, who set this thing up. It's the best, and it's
Okay.
cheap, it's fast, and all you do is, you say, all right, what do I want? I want to use a credit card. They're
So
going to charge you only
are
three.
you showing it to us right now?
Yeah,
How to do this? Okay, perfect.
yeah. You go to use a credit card. I just want to buy. I want to buy stablecoin. Cool. I want to buy BSV. You know, if I want to buy a stablecoin, it's only going to be 3%. So now they may not have they may not, they looks like the credit card is euro only right now. So that's about to roll out USD, be able to do credit card USD. But in the other way I did it was I just do, you go and do a wallets, and then you make a deposit, right? So let's say you go and do, I don't know, deposit into this, deposit into this, deposit into this, whatever. And you
Wait,
want to
wait,
just say, let me
you're
go to
going,
USD.
wait, you're going too fast. But again, people who are not tech
Yeah.
savvy, they don't have anything in any wallet or anything.
Right. So
So
here's what I would do. The way I did it, and this is the cheapest way, all right, is I go to deposit, and then you see this little scan, get a deposit address.
yeah.
Then you're going to get a deposit address, and you can USDC. No, that's actually USDC. So that's USDC if I have it. But if I don't have USDC, I'm going to use USD. So I'm going to go USD, bank account, bank deposit.
Okay.
Then I would just go ahead and copy this information, and I pay $10 and I send it there. And you could do a wire out of your bank online. That's the cheapest way and the most private way, because I don't have to go through and do a blood sample or any of that stuff to do this.
Gavin, could you please go back again and do this
Yeah.
more slowly? I think this
Okay.
is really helpful because I think this is one of the missing keys. How do we get BSV into into that platform where we then can use the text and sending it? I
Yeah.
think that's
So when you go to OrangeGateway.com, you go ahead and set up like OrangeGateway.com, and then you log in, and you can log in with just a simple Google account. So it's not hard. You just go like this. Watch, log out,
Mhm. I think this
and
is so
log
helpful,
in.
Gavin, for people.
You see where it says sign in with Apple, sign in
Mhm.
with Google. So it's one click sign in, not a bunch of long, complicated stuff.
Okay.
So once you sign in, let me stop my screen share, sign in.
And their platform is anonymous, right? So if we use our Google account, that is anonymous with them.
I mean, yeah, you could use an anonymous Google account if you want.
Yeah.
They're not going to complain about it. It's up to $1,000 a month, pretty much. That's completely private. I mean, yeah, you're without KYC. Now, Iceland is also, if you know the history, they're the most, probably the most conservative, I would say, or the most freedom loving, next to America, the most freedom loving country in the world, because they're the only ones that prosecuted and found all those bankers criminal for the 2008 criminal heist that they did. All
Yeah.
the others, U.S., we said, oh, here's a bunch of money. We paid our guys for their crimes. They
Yes.
actually prosecuted them and got them out.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
Iceland is definitely the one of the best places. That's where this is. And so
Okay, so after we sign in, we come to this page, the one that you're showing us right now. It's on the exchange tab right there.
yep.
Okay. Then we go to wallets.
Wallets. And then the cheapest way to do it is just go to a USD deposit.
Okay. So Gavin, we automatically, when we sign up, we automatically have then a wallet. The wallet will be automatically linked into our email address.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just by logging in with either Google or Apple. Yep. Then
Cool.
bank deposit, and then you would just wire. You're going to do IBAN and I just go to my bank and then click send.
Fill that out.
And
Yes.
do, $100. Start with $100, and that way you'll see, oh, okay, well, you are going to pay $10 on 100, so it's a little more expensive, but at least you'll test it out and see what happens. And then once you do that, then you could start getting more comfortable with it, and using it more. So yeah, that's how you start. Now, it's about to roll out with an app where it'll be super easy with like much. I think it's going to be right on the iPhone app. Click
Okay.
1 or 2 clicks, and then also on the Android app, 1 or 2 clicks.
Okay.
It's good. They're working on that. It's like any day, but right now
Okay.
this is the best way. Soon it will be credit card USD as well. Right now it's
Okay.
uh, credit card euro only.
Okay. Well, I have clients in Europe, so this is great. I can just show them how to do that.
Maybe I can actually pay with a credit card now. Let's see. Okay, I can pay with a credit card now. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it does take credit card. It converts to euro somehow, I
I'm
guess.
sorry, you went too fast. Can you go back and show me what you did?
Yeah, credit card.
Oh, over there. Okay.
And then I went to whatever I want to buy.
Okay.
Let's say euro.
Oh, I see. You're buying it in euro.
Proceed to payment.
Okay.
And then it's pretty fast. I could just click. I already have a credit card on file. Click that. I'm done.
Okay. And so if you do it that way,
It's
uh,
instant and it's
it,
3%. It's actually cheaper for small amounts that way.
it's cheaper for small amounts. Okay, that's
Yeah.
all great to know. I'm sure people will so appreciate all of this basic
Yeah, there
information.
is a link I can put a link if I do this out there. I know he has an affiliate link for me. So if you do buy it, I'll send you a link and they'll at least put an affiliate in there that
Okay.
people start buying it, then I'll get notified for it. I'll put that link below. People can sign
Yeah,
up if they want to do it.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. All
Yeah. And
right.
so yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the best way. I mean, we used Centi before. It's a Swiss company, but they're not doing it. We used, well, not sad, but it's so dangerous and disruptive that I don't know if people know, but it was, it's banned. They closed all these, truckers accounts, right? But they went on a war and they banned Bitcoin everywhere. You know that, right? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot buy it anywhere. That's why we have to use this Iceland company because it's
So,
banned everywhere.
we have to be very clear when you and I talk Bitcoin, what we talk about is BSV. So it's Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. When most people talk about Bitcoin, it's a BTC symbol when you buy it, right? Or in wallets. These are the symbols that will show up. It's the Bitcoin that most people consider is Bitcoin. It's the symbol is BTC and it stands for what? Bitcoin? What's TC?
It stands for Greg Coin. It was the guy called Greg Maxwell that built it, and what it is an airdrop, and that came out into the new report on the digital currency from the White House. It's an airdrop. So they airdropped BTC, which is Greg Coin, inside the Bitcoin wallet. It's
Okay.
just an airdrop. So it is an airdrop. You're buying a $120,000 airdrop.
Okay.
That's all you're getting. It's an airdrop that does nothing. It's a meme coin. It's a meme coin. You know what a meme coin is?
Well, I know. Why don't you explain what actually BTC is? But for people who don't know anything about it, explain it,
Oh,
big.
it's a meme coin, and it's put out in 2015. It was 2015 or so when they were working on it with Blockstream. So what happened was in 2015 is when the Bilderberg Group guy came in and funded Blockstream. Blockstream was looking for money. They were approaching a lot of people in the industry. They went to Kurt Walker. They went to a bunch of other people, and they were looking to raise money. Nobody was going to give them any money. They were just like, how are you guys going to make money? You're going to do what? No, this makes no sense. You're going to be the Bitcoin what? Nobody would give them any money. Finally, the Bilderberg Group CEO funded them and gave them, I think, 50 million. This would have been around 2015. And so then the plan started going into action. And the plan was, well, we need to hijack this Bitcoin protocol, and we'll use the name, we'll take the name of it and create a meme coin, which is just a airdrop token on the protocol itself, and we'll direct all the masses over there, and then we'll put a massive amount of money behind it. This is the Bilderberg Group, so MasterCard and all these big people, right? that are all behind that, or were part of this. That's I forget the guy's name, but anyways, the head of the Bilderberg group was the one that designed this, and funded Blockstream. So then they did it, and it's called GregCoin, and that's in the original forums. Mike Hearn called out while it was happening. He named it GregCoin in the forums when it first started, but then they convinced the exchanges, probably through lobbying, to then use that name Bitcoin. So they said, no, you need to use the name. When it all went down, which was August 1st, 2017, is when it all changed. When it happened, that's when they somehow created enough momentum with the exchanges lobby to then say, look, when we do this, we're going to create this meme coin, or this this airdrop token called. We need you to get behind us and keep the name Bitcoin on it. And so now that's been that way ever since. There was a lot of contention when that happened in the community, and it was like, oh my gosh, everybody who knew this stuff, they're like, well, clearly that's not Bitcoin. But so we had then the Bitcoin, actual Bitcoin, continued on, and then it was right around that month, the prices just about flipped.
Huh?
Do you know the history on that?
No, I do not.
I don't know the exact date. I remember being there while it was happening. It was, it may have been August 2017 or I remember making a video when it happened, and it was the prices were so Bitcoin, which was they called it Bitcoin Cash at that time, and then they called it BTC Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin Cash approached, and it was like hundreds of dollars away from flipping. And then at that point, somebody did something, and Kurt would know the history of what they did at Coinbase. Somebody at Coinbase did something, stopped the trading, cut everything off on the trading, halted all trading, and then rugged everybody back to pull the momentum back so that BTC started going back up again. And ever since then, they've kept an eye on it and make sure that never happens again. Because it was flipping. People they were too smart. They were like, clearly this is not Bitcoin. We're not keeping this.
Yeah, I think the people who initially, I think that's one of the problems that I have found in my research, that the people who initially were involved in Bitcoin, they're tech savvy. They are the younger group. They understand the whole technology behind it, what it was for. It was supposed to be a peer-to-peer, people-to-people interchange without any financial transaction interchange, without any middleman, very minimal fees, super fast, like you just sent it to me in a text. And when apparently that shift happened in 2017, the people knew that no, this is not the real Bitcoin. But what we have found now, this is what I have found with my research. If so much money is behind a particular narrative, because we are supposed to be funneled into a particular direction, that we're all now standing behind that and believing it. We're hearing the same thing from all different sides, all of these social media influencers and news reporters and this person and that person. They're all funneling us in a particular narrative that drown out everything else that's there on the sidelines. And so, that I think was what happened. And nobody now who are looking into Bitcoin even know that there is the real Bitcoin still available. And by the way, it was peer-to-peer digital cash and not digital gold holding it until the prices go up into the millions. But another thing that I found out last night during my 3 a.m. research is that so many of the financial institutions, and what are those funds called that invest in startups? I'm sorry? Hedge funds.
Venture capital funds and hedge funds.
Yeah, exactly. And banks, they're all now buying Bitcoin, or at least that's what they're saying. Bitcoin, the BTC, the digital gold Bitcoin, the airdrop token that you were talking about. They are saying we are buying 500 million, and another buys 1 billion, and another, company, they're all coming out. They are saying they're buying all of these Bitcoins, and we, the little people, are in a way supposed to, we all got to buy now, because otherwise we're missing the boat, because it's going to go to 1 million, and I could have bought it.
It's going to be a great opportunity for them to rug pull everybody, right? When the time comes. So that's going to be the best part. That's their that's great for them. So they can promote it, rug pull everybody, and then say, "Oops, oh, we're really sorry about that." But
So,
it's
so So why don't you explain that part? Because I don't think people really understand this. And what my sense is, a lot of people that I trusted initially when I first learned about Bitcoin, they're also now on the digital gold bandwagon. And somehow they are not making the connection that BSV is the real Bitcoin still. Because
well, for one, it's extremely censored, unpopular, and it's extremely it's a topic that probably has kept my audience down for maybe, like, I don't know. I mean, I always wonder, like, what would happen if I never talked about it ever? Would I be a lot bigger, much bigger channel?
Mhm.
I
Yeah, but
mean,
I wouldn't have
those I
learned
don't
from
know.
you.
Those I don't
I wouldn't
know.
have learned from you.
We never learned. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, but it is censored. So that's one of the reasons. So I know
yeah.
that came out with Jeff Berwick. He was one of the guys that he knew about it in 2017 when it was happening.
Hmm.
And I think he got attacked. So he kind of had to pull back on he was a major influencer, maybe the biggest.
But
And
he's not promoting BSV. He's promoting
right. But he got,
BTC.
right, because he got attacked and he got completely shut down and censored. And he realized that they were not going to be able to grow his audience. So he had to stop. He stopped. Doesn't mean he doesn't know, but he doesn't talk about it. But Raphael does, Dollar Vigilante.
Yeah, so
So
I learned it from
that's
him.
his angle
Yeah,
of Jeff, and he's just an arm of Jeff Berwick, right?
yeah.
So, um, so they definitely know, Jeff Berwick does. But yeah, what was the question that you were asking?
Well, I actually have two questions. One question is, so the people that know, they were early in the game with you, they understood the tech behind it. And I have contacted several ones of them also, and some of them responded and some never responded. But from what they are now saying online, they are aware that Bitcoin has been hijacked, but they are not somehow making the connection that BSV is still there, or that Craig Wright is the uh, the true
How
creator of Bitcoin, and they're dissing
well,
him, and so they're
how did
dissing
you?
BSV.
How did you? That's probably a better question. How did you make that connection?
Well, I just read. I read and read and read whatever I could find about BSV. I watched a lot of
But but
videos.
but how did you even find it? Like, before you read about it, because you're reading about BTC, so before.
Yeah, so that's what in 2023. So it took me, I was researching already beginning of 2020, and it wasn't until 2023 that I found out about BSV.
Was it
So
was it by reading about the
no,
forks, or what
Raphael,
was
I
it?
was watching, I was participating in a Dollar Vigilante course, and it was Raphael was talking about it, and it's like, what is he talking about? And so that's when I started the research. And then particularly I was researching BSV and Craig Wright, Dr. Craig Wright, because he was mentioning that he is the original
Craig
this
Satoshi Wright. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. And so
Craig
that's
S. Wright. It stands for Satoshi.
yeah, so I began research then, and I did a concerted effort on the research because I wanted to find out how come the propaganda has changed and we are funneled into this new direction. And so yeah, so I found out from Raphael, and then fairly quickly I came to your channel and several other channels who are talking about it. And it was very clear it was hijacked, and very clear that, and I'm not tech savvy, so I that was an intuition, but just reading the material, listening to all of you explaining what has happened. Kurt was another person who I listened to. He gives a very good background on it. And so it was an intuition for me that, yeah, this is we are again dealing with the same kind of a hijacking and negating that was happening during COVID for doctors and scientists who warned about what was being pushed on the people worldwide. They were all silenced. So I knew that game already.
Well, here's let me just take you back down to these theories. Oh, well, I agree with what you're saying about the hijacking, but I'm more of a legal guy, so I have to look at motive, because everything in our legal system today, it revolves around motive. When
Okay.
you ever are involved in a crime, or somebody committed a crime against you or another person, the district attorney, the attorney general, they have to look at motive. If there was no motive and you were just defending yourself and someone came and hurt you, that's not a crime. You can defend yourself. There was no motive. You're innocent. So everything revolves around motive. So we have to look back at like, well, what was the motive? And if there was no motive, then I wouldn't believe in it. And nobody's really talked about it.
Motive about what?
What is the motive that they don't want Bitcoin out?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Really, that's the whole, what is the motive? It's twofold. One, Bitcoin takes away all their power of controlling money.
Yes.
That's the big one, because once they don't get to control our money, Rothschild said he who controls the money has all the power. Once they don't get to control our money, we take our power back, we get our freedom back. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
Two is they want to control the narrative of time. See, if they control time and the calendars, then we can be deceived on what time it is in history. So we don't really know what our past looks like. We have theories about what was said in the past, but they all differ. We don't really know. Everybody's saying different things about when things happened and what, and that hurts us because we don't really know true history, so we can't learn from it, And then they can use that against us in the future and say, well, we know the exact timeline, and we're going to prepare for things, and you won't know about it, and you'll be surprised and caught off guard. So they want to control the narrative of money and time. That's why they don't want Bitcoin, because it preserves our power of money, and it controls and it completely preserves time through the blockchain, the time ledger, the one single time ledger.
Yeah. So maybe you can explain a little bit what that blockchain time ledger is about, because I think we've talked a lot about the Bitcoin, the background, and how easy it is to use, and why we would use it, because it's our money. We have access to it. It cannot be taken from us. It cannot be programmed. It cannot be shut down. We have access to it at any time. So that from a privacy security point of view, that's essential. But what is this time ledger that you're talking about? How does that play in? I certainly don't understand it, and probably most people.
So let me show you something here. I'll go and see if I could find this. Okay. Let's see.
How are you doing on time? I don't want to tax you.
Probably have to wrap up pretty soon, but I really should. But I have to show you something still. Let me 2 hours ago. Okay, this is just an article that I wrote today, and it talks about just whatever. It's not really what it talks about is not key, but what's important is how it's preserved. All right, so this is a blog, right? And it talks about like some important things.
I don't see it yet, by the way. It's not up yet. Oh, there it is. Okay.
This is on a very small, very new site that nobody knows about yet. It's called TreeChat.ai.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
And I'm posting my blog on there, posted a video on there, and I embedded it on there so that I can then preserve time and preserve this forever. And I can also log what I'm saying on the blockchain. So you see how I'm on the blog right here?
Yeah.
Now I clicked on this little box. It takes me to the blockchain, which is what's on chain.
Yeah.
And now I can see on chain. Look at this. This is on chain. And this is what I wrote. This can't be censored or taken down. My post right there, my words are embedded now forever. And it cost me less than a cent. On chain. Now, the people say, oh, it's not forever. Well, if we have complete fallout, nuclear war, and everybody is gone, I would agree. But as long as there's still humanity and countries moving on, then it's embedded forever. All right. That's the only if we're all gone. In that case, it wouldn't matter. But otherwise, it's going to be there forever. That's how the blockchain works. And so that's the translation of it on chain. You can kind of read, oh, what did he write? What did he do? What was the date? When did this happen? Oh, there's the transaction itself. And so for me, that's really important, because when we were looking back at history, we can actually, see, well, what did that person say and when? Oh, here's exactly when he said that. He was alive at that time and he said this. This was important. There's proof. And that's really important for court stuff, because when you are dealing in court, you need to say, well, I actually did buy that piece of property on this date and I have proof. Here's when. Oh, we lost that proof. Oh, no, I lost it. I can't prove it. But now I can bring it in from here, from the blockchain, and bring in witnesses and say, nope, it was done right there. There's the receipt. See it on that day. I was the person that did that. I owned it. So that's like the preservation of the ledger, the truth ledger, aspect. And that's like a social network site I would recommend everybody joining and starting to use. And you get paid. Well, you can get paid. Yeah. All it is, it's microtransactions. And so in cash, well, you don't need money to start. You can just go in there for free. But then as you make a cool post, they'll upvalue it and say, wow, this was really valuable. And then the other people in the community will like it or comment on it. And then by doing that, it goes into your wallet, starts to build reserve in cash. So it's a little paid, community for people who are all using peer-to-peer cash on chain. All of it's on chain. It's the first site that I know of that is completely native layer 0. Like all of this. Well, there used to be Twetch. Maybe Twetch was, I don't know, but this is truly native layer 0. And it's when I say layer 0, see that one of the things about Bitcoin is, and I saw this on a video just today, but the guys are missing the boat. They're talking about a crypto exchange, and they're saying, well, Bitcoin is meant to be a store of value. And then in the future, they said it's also going to be part of our new money system. And that's maybe kind of true, but they're talking about it in a different way. I'm talking about it. Well, no, in the future, in the very near future, it's going to be part of the base layer of the money system, because it's the layer 0 base layer of the internet. That's the data side of the internet. And so the real opportunity is, freedom, cash, that's the basic stuff. But the other opportunity is that I have a video I just put out today. $13 trillion is being invested into the United States right now from other countries. Those $13 trillion, a lot of it's going into AI and blockchain. It doesn't say what blockchain. It doesn't say all that. But we do know that from all the bills, the Clarity Act and the Stablecoin Act, that they are rolling out the crypto stable coins, okay? And they're going to define a mature blockchain. And once they define a mature blockchain, it's going to go through Congress and it's going to go through the public, and the people are going to decide what is the mature blockchain, it's the cheapest, fastest, easiest way to use. I mean, and eventually the free market will decide. Eventually. I don't know when, but it's inevitable because once you have a Terra node that's scaling at a million and then even 1 billion transactions a second, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing that can compare, so.
Well, I think I think what we really have to be aware of, that what they are telling us can be all lies. So they may already be working with the BSV platform underneath. They may just tell us it's BTC or it is Solana or it is ETH, just to keep us,
One of the things that if you're newer to the space, one of the things that people also need to know, and this is what drew me in. Okay. This is where I was sold on this, and why I was like, you know what? Well, I'll tell you the story, but I was into this in 2016 2016, 2015, but it was on Ethereum. I didn't start with Bitcoin. I started with Ethereum. And so I was like, I'm too late to Bitcoin at that time. I thought, but it was Ethereum. So, but yeah, I still got some Bitcoin, but I mean, that was the main thing. And anyways, then once it got hijacked and everything stopped working, I said, this is a mess. I didn't know what to do, but it wasn't until around 2021 that I watched a video with Jimmy Nguyen, and he was the CEO of the Bitcoin Association at the time. And I started learning, as my background is in law now, and I don't really go into like all that stuff, but it's just I have a good understanding of the law and how it all works and how these things apply. So I'm not, and so in reading the law side of it, I saw he was an attorney and he was a patent attorney, and I thought that's important to me. Then I read a book called The Satoshi Affairs, and he was actually, that's how I found Jimmy Nguyen, the book called Satoshi Affairs by Andrew O'Hagan. It's an amazing piece. It's a long stem blog article online, Satoshi Affairs by Andrew O'Hagan. And in there is where I found Jimmy Wynn's name. That's how I even heard who he was. He was a patent attorney, 2016, and he was like working with the Satoshi, brand and all this and preserving it. And I thought, what is this? This is crazy. So it was that led me in to then finding out about the patents that were being built and the whole story with the patents. And I started reading the patents in 2017 when they came out, 2018, 2019, 2020. So since then, I think it's like 800 patents were done. I mean, maybe 400 granted, and that's all around the blockchain. And so the Bitcoin blockchain, it's all patented. And in order to use it, you have to get licensed unless you use it yourself. You can use the Bitcoin blockchain, but if you want to copy it and change it, you're being patent violations. So that's the other thing that is missing, because when it got hijacked and when it was starting to being hijacked, the Satoshi team, they started patenting the blockchain. They started patenting Bitcoin at that time before anybody else did. The Satoshi team, that's not really one person. Yeah, it really kind of is, but the whole massive team with that team started patenting everything. And those patents are issued, they're granted. The smart contract patent, the overall use of blockchain patent. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the courts deal with it in the future. But in my interpretation of it, most all areas of use on these things are all covered by patents. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of latecomers like COPA that's mad. COPA is very mad about this. They're late to the game. They're called Crypto Open Patent Alliance. They're very upset that they came in late. And so what they said is everybody needs to give away their patents for free. And because they didn't really have any value or any patents of any value, they all came together and agreed, well, sure, we'll all give away our patents. They don't mean anything. But this one other Satoshi team, they have all these patents. We need those for free. So that's the late bloomers like COPA, which is everybody. COPA is everyone. Mm-hmm. COPA is all the banks, all the institutions, all those people wrapped into one. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is late. So that's why COPA was formed. It's not a popular opinion, but that's where COPA came from.
Yeah, so I guess what you are telling us is that the original Bitcoin, BSV, the peer-to-peer cash system, has all of these patents. And even though all these other coins and the BTC, digital gold, number go up coin that is being pushed, they're all using a system they're not really allowed to use because they don't have the patents for it. And there could come a time when all of those coins that are using a system that they are not allowed to use because they don't have access to those patents, or they would have to pay in order to use these patents. But they're not fast enough, they can't scale properly, they're not really as good as the original Bitcoin, that the whole crypto BTC system could just collapse.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty reasonable plan, because they, pump the number as high as you can, take all the retirement income from all the people in the US, get it all in there as much as possible, then rug pull it when it's time, and then let everybody know that, oops, we couldn't operate. It was a patent. These guys had all this stuff patented, or whatever excuse the reason is. I mean, ultimately, it's not just their excuse. It's a matter of consensus, because there's also the point of consensus where you have the miners and the nodes, and they're operating on profit, not on, conspiracy or whatever theory. Some of them may be principle based, but most of them are just after profit. And there does come a time where it's just no longer profitable to mine on the meme coin when you're making transaction fees on the original Bitcoin that are higher. That also comes to a point, because you're looking at the mining node and you get to pick, well, what's the most profitable to mine today on the SHA-256 ledger? Oh, BTC, BSV, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Which one is most profitable? BTC is right now. Okay, well, maybe it is, but eventually that changes. Mm-hmm. That actually changes overnight, as the sad part, without warning. Mm-hmm. That is not something that's called hyper Bitcoinization. It's sad because most people won't know, That's the sad part. And it will be too late, because if it would be great if people had a lot of notice, maybe like a year or two That's why we can make these videos and let people know, because when it does happen, whenever that is, I don't know, it won't unfortunately give people time to make a decision. So because the miners will make the nodes will choose the most profitable change, and then it happens in an instant.
And it happens in instance. So, there was a video out in 2016 by the World Economic Forum. And, you could be kind of a little conspiracy theorist if you connect the dots up. But there was a video put out that said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And it struck all of us who watched that video as kind of odd. But how will we lose everything that we now own? Well, if we are enticed to put all of our money and all of our assets into tokenization and all of our 401k and our retirement and the stock portfolio, if we are enticed to put it all into this current bank promoted cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, BTC coin system, because it's going up, numbers going up, it's going to be 100,000. You're going to make so much money in the process. So if a lot of people won't even get there because,
It's motivating. It's like, that's the thing, is that, and I got a lot of friends who are involved. And I mean, honestly, as long as you're risk adverse and you don't mind being whatever you put in, you can afford to lose it, you could make some money. So just be mindful of that. There's a huge risk involved as well with the being in the meme coins and all that. So
anyway, I was just trying to say, if we would have a little conspiracy thinking, that would be a great way of getting a large amount of money of people's possession into a system and then pull the rug and just deflate it all. And it's how people would lose everything. And then the real Bitcoin could be rolled out as the system that, is the legal system. There's all of the, the patents available, and that's the one that we really need to use because it scales, it can work so fast because of the Terra node system that was developed, and it's just going to be then presented to us as the solution. But in the meanwhile, everybody lost everything in the process.
Yeah, and they say everybody should be happy for that.
And then we'll all be so happy because we lost everything.
According to them, right? That's their narrative. But they're the ones that's going to lose everything when we all wake up and start using Bitcoin peer-to-peer cash. They're the ones that lost, so and the people who came in and listened, and hopefully the very few small amount of people that listen, to this will at least have notice and opportunity.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this interview, this little call. So I really appreciate it. I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Margot. It's great to have you. And I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. I'll see you at the top, everybody. Hit the ones and subscribe. And if you were going to do the Orange Gateway, I'll put the link below. There's an affiliate link on there that they probably pay me like a few cents or something on the transaction.
Okay, how about the TreeChat? Put that out too if people
I'll put the TreeChat in there as well. You can follow me on TreeChat. It's a brand new site that has everything on chain. And you can create an account for free and start transacting and be paid to use Bitcoin. So, all right, let's end it there. See you at the top.